At 85, Ringo Starr finally reveals 10 rock albums he hated. At 85 years old, Ringo Starr has nothing left to prove. The drummer of the Beatles, one of the most influential musicians alive, has lived long enough to see music styles rise, collapse, and come back again. Yet, after a lifetime of peace and love, the famously cheerful Beatle finally decided to reveal something unexpected: the 10 rock albums he absolutely hated. For decades, Ringo kept his opinions quiet. He avoided public feuds and rarely spoke harshly about anyone in the music world. But age brings honesty. "You get to a point," Ringo told a recent interviewer, "where you just say what you think. I've been polite long enough." What follows is not a bitter rant, but the reflections of a man who's seen the full spectrum of rock, the genius, and the garbage. His dislikes, surprisingly, reveal as much about his musical philosophy as his legendary drumming ever did. Before naming the people and albums he hated, Ringo explained why certain records turned him off. For him, it all comes down to feel. Rock music, in his view, must be alive, raw, and human. If it doesn't make you move, it's not rock. If it sounds like a machine, it's not rock, he said. He's frustrated with overproduced albums that bury the soul of the performance under layers of effects and editing. "Back in the day," Ringo reflected, "we played together in a room. You could hear the air moving around the drums. Nowadays, everything's done on computers, cut, pasted, tuned, polished, and it loses the life." He emphasized that he doesn't hate people, but rather the choices that make great musicians sound fake. Some of these albums could have been brilliant if they just let the band play. 1. Ram, Paul McCartney. It shocked fans that Ringo began by criticizing his former bandmate Paul. "I love Paul. We're brothers," he said. "But Ram just sounded confused to me. Too fancy. Too much going on. No groove." Ringo believed Paul was trying too hard to prove he didn't need the Beatles. The music, he felt, was technically good, but emotionally empty. "Where's the rock and roll?" he asked. 2. Sometime in New York City, John Lennon and Yoko Ono Ringo admitted that this politically charged album left him cold. "John was shouting instead of singing," he said. "I admired his heart, but it felt like a newspaper, not a record." Though he respected John's message, he believed the songs lacked the spark that made Lennon great. He forgot the joy. Ringo sighed. 3. It's only rock and roll. The Rolling Stones. Ringo's issue wasn't personal. He loves the Stones, but he found this mid-70 seconds album lazy. It sounded like they were tired, he said. No danger, no edge. The title said rock and roll, but the record didn't feel it. He missed the rough and ready swagger of their earlier hits. 4. Never Let Me Down. David Bowie Ringo respected Bowie's creativity, but found this late, 80 seconds record overproduced and stiff. "You could hear the studio trying to make Bowie sound modern," he said. But Bowie didn't need modern, he was timeless. The production killed it. 5. Dirty Work. The Rolling Stones. Again, when asked why the Stones appeared twice, Ringo laughed. Because they know better. He called Dirty Work the sound of a band fighting in a room. He admired their survival but said, "You can't groove when everyone's angry." 6. Cut the Crap. The Clash. Joe Strummer was brilliant, Ringo noted, but this album was chaos. The Clash's final record replaced their drummer with a drum machine, a crime in Ringo's eyes. "If you don't have a drummer, you don't have a band," he said. "You have a computer pretending to be one." 7. Van Halen 3. Van Halen Ringo described this album as a mess made by geniuses. He loved Eddie Van Halen's playing, but thought the band lost its soul when they replaced singer Sammy Hagar. You can't build energy out of confusion, he said. Rock is about chemistry. 8. Street anger. Metallica Ringo's drummer instincts came out here. The snare drum sounded like a trash can, he said, laughing. Maybe they were trying something new, but it drove me mad. I respect Lars Ulrich, but why would you ruin your drums? He admitted that Metallica's power was still there, but the sound was so wrong I couldn't listen. 9. Music from another dimension. Aerosmith Ringo sighed deeply at this one. Too much ego, not enough song, he said. He felt the band was chasing hits instead of playing from the heart. You can tell when a song is written by committee, he added. It sounds like a business meeting. 10. Chinese democracy. Guns N' Roses. Ringo saved his biggest disappointment for last. It took them 15 years to make, and it sounded like it. He said, there's talent there, but it's buried under technology. No rock band should take that long to sound that dull. For Ringo, the album symbolized everything wrong with modern rock. Perfection. Without passion. When asked why he finally decided to share his dislikes, Ringo smiled. Because I love music, he said. You can't love something and not be honest about it. He added that hating an album doesn't mean hating the artist. I've met most of these people. They're good souls. But sometimes good souls make bad records. For him, the act of criticism is also an act of care. Rock needs a kick sometimes. Everyone says everything's great, but not everything is great. Some of it's rubbish, and that's fine. It keeps us honest. Ringo Starr's confession may ruffle feathers, but it also reminds us what's kept him beloved for over 60 years. Sincerity. Even when critical, he speaks with warmth and humor. His honesty isn't cruelty, it's clarity. At 85, the man who gave the world the backbeat to come together and, with a little help from my friends, still believes in the fundamentals rhythm, truth, and connection. You don't need to be fancy, he said. Just play it like you mean it. That's all rock ever needed. In an age of auto-tuned precision and algorithmic playlists, he reminds us that rock and roll was never meant to be perfect, just real.